If you're planning on developing thought leadership content based on research surveys, then here are 6 steps in 4 minutes that'll make the difference between good content that might create marketing leads and great content that delivers value to the reader and also gives influence to the vendor or provider. Step 1, pre-meetings. Good research is typically driven by marketing teams. Great research starts when they engage a broader range of stakeholders on what are the topics to be explored, what worked or didn't in prior projects, and beginning with the end in mind. What headlines or punchlines do you hope that the research will either fortify or myth bust? Step 2, survey development. Writing great survey questions is as much art as it is science. There are industry standards and best practices for how questions should be authored, but there's also the psychology of how you identify the personas and then take them through a mental journey to ensure that you get the most accurate and actionable responses. Having clarity for how you'll use the data afterwards will help you write better survey questions, including how you might plan to cut against demographics or cross-cut one topical question with another. The best surveys are authored with marketing foresight, research methodology, and deep context. The more your survey author understands the topic, as well as the art and the science, the better the questions and the more insightful the results. Step 3, fieldwork. Your choice of survey tool will affect the flexibility with multiple personas and conditional double clicks on key topics. Your choice of panel providers directly affects the quality of the responses and therefore the validity of the data and the insights, especially when you're surveying in multiple geographies or you need targeted persona respondents. Case in point, there's only a few survey platforms that I utilize and only a few panel providers that I trust to give valid respondents. Step 4, data analysis. It's pretty straightforward just to present the charts one at a time or to cite a key statistic in a headline, but there's so much more insights that you can get out of research data if it's been well authored and you have someone experienced doing the analysis. Sometimes you're looking for the shape of the data more than the statistics themselves. In other cases, the deviations by persona, org size, industry, geography tell an even more interesting story than the global sample. If you've asked similar questions in prior surveys, that can yield exponential insights. Again, this is where topical expertise and research experience really make a difference. Step 5, unlock the ROI for what you've paid for. Good research will give you punchy statistics for your press release and fortify a marketing white paper. You will get ROI, but there's so much more value you can get out of the data that you've already paid for. A good analyst will debrief your marketing teams differently than your sales enablement teams, differently than your executive team. That's because to unlock all the data's value, you're going to want to unpack the data and its implications for your go-to-market strategy, different than how you might equip your frontline sellers to gain empathy with customers, different than how you might consider product strategy or corporate vision, even though it all comes from the same survey results and market insights. Step 6, marketing. With all this being said, most research sponsors do it to create marketing content that will inform or inspire their target audiences. This is the fun part of aligning unbiased research insights with the intended narratives from your product or marketing teams, all of which can be radically elevated through creative design and a well-rounded package of content. You start by building on a foundation of a research report as the citable source of truth. Amplify that through social media and infographics and video shorts and blogs and articles. Evangelize through webinars and live events. And ideally enable your front lines for more credibility, differentiation, and empathy into what their customers are trying to achieve. There are some good and not so good research providers out there, but assuming that you've got valid respondents, the difference between good and great research-powered market intelligence is the science and the art within the questions, the analysis, and what you can do with the insights.